Hello, is anybody there? I think that there was one person, or maybe that's me. If you're here and you can see me, then please say something in the comments so I know that somebody's there. It didn't work before. I have no idea why. But yeah, so it does say that there's one person. I'd be more than happy with one person, to be honest, but maybe that's just me. So if it isn't just, and if there is somebody out there, oh, three, hang on, there's three people. Say hello. If you can write in the chat, say hello and let me know that you're there. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It said I was going live and then I just wasn't. So yeah. Okay, right. Well, I may as well start after all that technical issues, which hopefully the other thing I'm worried about is earlier I tried to do this and then they cut me off saying that I had breached their guidelines. So if that happens, then I don't know. I'll have to think about something else. So yeah, nobody's writing in the comments, so I don't know yet if you can hear me or see me, but if you can, please write something so that I know that I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. But if I'm not, I may as well give it a go and say something useful. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for joining my course. I massively appreciate everyone who's joined up so far. It's a very strange time at the moment, very worrying, very strange time, but we're not going to talk about that. This is very much a distraction for me, and hopefully for you guys too, and something that you can kind of get your teeth into and enjoy. So I wanted to go over lesson one, the introduction, and I really want you to feel free to be involved and write me any comments and questions and anything you want in the comments. Still nobody writing any comments. That's a bit weird. I hope that listen, if you can hear me and you can't write in the comments, then maybe write in the Facebook group. Just say, look, Rianne, we can't write in the comments. You're talking to yourself for half an hour. And then at least I'll know. I've not done this before, so we'll love to see how it goes. Okay, so the introduction, I wanted to give you, oh, hang on. Yay! Hello, is it Aileen? Yeah, nice one, thank you very much, thank you. Okay, so the introduction, I wanted to give you an introduction to, well, dog photography in general. Oh, hello, hi Louise, thank you, brilliant, thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to give you an introduction to dog photography, my style of dog photography in general, because obviously everybody has their own style and way of doing things, but obviously you guys want to learn my style, otherwise you wouldn't be here with me. First, I've got written down here in my notes, who likes my Karate Kid analogy? If you like my Karate Kid analogy, please write the comments, because I thought that was quite good myself. Really, that was just designed to kind of get you to sort of slow down and just stop thinking about taking pictures for a little while, or stop trying to take pictures and actually just sit and think about what you're doing and your approach to this. Because actually I found over the years that thinking along those lines in terms of being patient and really thinking about what you're doing has massively helped me out hugely. What I do find, nice memories of karate. Exactly. He had to do all the boring stuff first, didn't he, before he actually got to doing the karate. It's the same as you guys. You got to do lots of thinking first before you can go out and take pictures. Yeah, so I hope you didn't mind. I really just wanted you to slow down and really think about what you are doing first and about your approach, because one thing I'd noticed, especially on my face-to-face workshops, is you get this feeling of people being very frustrated. They get frustrated at themselves, they get frustrated at the dogs, they get frustrated at other dogs coming over, people, the weather, it's cold, it's hot, whatever it is, they've just got this sort of air of kind of, I can't do it, and I'm really frustrated and I'm really annoyed, and I'm always like, listen, you just got to chill, like you just got to enjoy this. If you're not enjoying this, then you're going to be putting pressure on yourself and pressure on your dog and pressure on the situation as well, and it is not conducive to a happy scenario. So it's really, really important, before you even think about going out taking pictures, is that you've kind of got to be in that kind of Zen mode. It's really funny, actually, on my photo shoots, I'd say probably about 9 times out of 10, probably halfway through, people will say, "Oh, you have the patience of a saint, don't you?" And I'm like, well, in real life, in myself, I don't think I'm a very patient person. I'm quite impatient. But on my photo shoots, I'm literally like the Zen master, because it's the only way to be. It is literally the only way to be. There's so many things that can go wrong, and they do go wrong. They go wrong all the time. Don't think, you look at my pictures, oh, nothing goes wrong for me. It goes wrong all the time, all the time. So I wanted to use the introduction as an opportunity to show you that I'm, even though I folk, well, probably way more dogs than you, I'm just like you. I live in the real world, and it is still really, really hard for me as well. So can you write in the thing, who finds it hard? Who gets frustrated? Be honest. Tell me your thoughts and feelings about this. And has anything in that introduction made you stop and think? Because that's really what I wanted to achieve with it. I've got 7 people. Yay, 7 people. Yeah, I don't even. What do you mean you don't even try now? That's a shame. That's a shame. You should. You should definitely try. Because at the end of the day, it's all about creating nice, happy memories, isn't it? And it would be a real shame if you stopped doing that. But I'm really hoping, Louise, that by the end of this, you'll be able. Well, you'll definitely try. But hopefully you'll be trying in a more constructive way. You'll be trying when the time is right, the light is right, you feel good about it, you've got a good kind of working process with your dog, and you can just both enjoy the experience. And I really feel that the more that you can enjoy it and be patient, the more that you're going to get out of it, and the more that your dog is going to get out of it. I've got this phrase I like, it's happy dogs equals happy images. It's simple. Yeah, so anyone else? No. Okay, so yeah, I did give you a little bit of a history about me. I won't blather on again about me. Good. This is the kickstart I need, Louise says. Very good, very good. Well, I'm very glad that you're here with me. Thank you for joining. So I never studied photography. I studied TV production back in the day in Liverpool in 1996 to 99. Never went into TV production, couldn't get a job, no one was interested in me. Ended up doing graphic design, and then loads of bits and pieces. I don't know how I got jobs in doing animation and photography, got no idea, didn't know what I was doing. But then when I got Boo, oh look, there's a pug on my lap. Ta-da! This is Boo. So Boo is the reason why I started dog photography in the first place. So as I said in my introduction, when Boo arrived, she was like a fairy jacket potato. She was so small and strange looking, but overnight I just, like all you guys, I just fell in love completely and totally. And then that was it. And all I wanted to do was take pictures of her, but I couldn't because I just didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I tried to find some books, but to be honest with you, there was not a lot out there. There weren't workshops, there weren't live YouTube Q&As. There was nothing really. And the books that I did find, I didn't really like the pictures at all. I thought, for want of a better word, I just thought they were really boring, and they didn't really reflect dogs, if you know what I mean. Like, Boo was just so full of spirit and full of life, and she was so naughty, and she was just so funny. That's what I wanted to get. I didn't kind of want to get like a very staid sort of still portrait of a dog against a black background, or it just didn't seem to me to be kind of colourful enough or full of life enough. So really, I just set out on my own, did my own thing, and it was actually just through sheer determination, self-determination to succeed, that I got any way better at all. And as I said in my introduction, I became extremely annoying to go out on walks with, because all I wanted to do was take pictures of Boo. To be honest, all I really wanted to do in life was to spend time with Boo. But as I said, I really had no clue. I didn't understand anything about my camera. All I did was I went into a shop. I said, I'll have that one, thanks. And then that was it. I didn't understand about lenses. I knew how to switch it on and press the button, and that was it. And it was really a very slow process for me, just through practice, 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 practice. And I think that is one thing that I will get across to you, I hope, is that actually there is no substitute for practice. So why don't you write down there, who says that they, I don't know, what do you practice a lot? I mean, obviously at the moment it's a very different situation right now, so it's not kind of real life for us right now, but under normal circumstances, how often would you say you practice? Do you practice all the time? And when you go out, are you kind of badgering your dog? Kind of, do you sort of annoy them a little bit? Are you trying to do too much? Let me know in the comments below. No judging. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn. So yeah, please let me know down below what your sort of attitude is to taking photographs out on your walk with your dog. So yeah, practice, 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 practice. And I slowly started to get better. And it was about 2.5, 3 years after I got Boo, I actually moved down to Brighton, new life, me and Boo. And down in Brighton, if you don't know Brighton, people who aren't from the UK, it's a very vibrant city on the south coast of England, and it's good for lots of things. But what I didn't realise when I moved there was actually how many dogs live there. Thousands, and people really, really, really love their dogs in Brighton. Plus, there's great locations. There's loads of parks. There's loads of beaches. There is a beach. And it's on the edge of the South Downs National Park. So loads and loads of locations. So I was actually looking for a job in graphic design, but then quickly realised nobody cares about graphic designers anymore. So thought I might try and get some work doing dog photography. And that's how I started my business. It was about 2.5, 3 years after I got Boo that I did that. But even when I look back at the pictures where I started earning money, I don't really show much of them anymore, because I feel that obviously I've improved a great deal since then. But it's been quite a hard slog over the last few years. I've been in a lot of situations that have been very challenging. But so yeah, that is what I call real life dog photography, and it's a good laugh, but it is very, very difficult. Write in the comments, who finds dog photography difficult? And feel free to let me know about some situations that you've found particularly hard. Oh, look, I've got 9 people. Yay! Thanks everyone for joining me. Okay, so I just want to go over again my core values. So my core values are, on my photo shoots and in general anyway, and just in life, I want to see happy dogs. That's it. Over the world, I know that there's a lot of dogs that really don't have a very good life, and they're not treated very well, and it's absolutely horrific. And I live in a little bubble on the complete other end of the spectrum. My clients, they're like me. Their dogs are their babies. So I'm extremely lucky to live and work in a bubble with people who just absolutely adore their dogs. They tend to be women. I will say that, some men, but mostly women. And so it's no surprise to me that most of the people who have signed up for this course are also women. And actually most people that come to my workshops are also women too. Don't know why, it's just the way it is. What's it? Eileen says, I don't take many action photos in the moment, more portraits. My dog is old, so I don't get much action. Fair enough. It is difficult to get sharp photos when they're moving. This is very true. It is very difficult to get sharp photos when they are moving, but I'm going to hopefully help you with that in a few weeks' time. But you got to get the basics right first. So you got to, first of all, before you get to that bit, you've got to kind of get your attitude right. And also you've got to think about lighting and angles and things like that. So we're going to go through those things first. And then when you've got those sorted, that's when you do the action. Yeah, so back to my core values. So it's really about dogs being free, dogs being happy. I just want to see them like on a beach in front of the sunset having like the best time. It doesn't have to be on the beach, of course. I just love beaches the best. Um, it just makes me physically happy. I just want to see them having a good time. Now, there's nothing wrong with this, and I'm not going to dismiss any other photographer's work, but I find this whole idea about, oh, we're going to kind of put them all on the leads and then Photoshop it out. I don't really make us that. I mean, I can do that, and I do sometimes do it as a last resort, but it's not, I don't use it as a selling point, because what I really want is dogs to be as free and as kind of being able to do what they want as much as possible. And so it's not about kind of making them sit and stay and wait and stay. It's about the challenge for me to kind of get them as a portrait or as an action shot whilst they're doing what they want to do, or kind of persuading them that they want to do what we want to do, but never making them. It's never about making them at all. I'm hoping that that comes across in my photography, that the dogs are happy, because they are. They're always happy. I can't remember a time when dogs weren't having a good time. But it's we have to be very careful about where we go, because location is very important too. And I've got a whole section on motivation. Your lesson that's coming tomorrow is about light, and actually this is a bit of a big section. I might have to split it up into two, but the lesson afterwards is all about motivation. And it's really, 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 really important to find out what motivates dogs and to go with that. Because if you don't go with what they're motivated by, then forget it. So yeah, I've got some notes here before I have to apologise. I go off on one. I talk a lot. So, and please, if you've got any questions as I go along, please put them in the comments. Yeah. Oh, look, here we go. So one of my aims in the introduction was to just dispel any myths that there might be that I have some sort of special power to control dogs and they always do what I want them to do. No, never. Actually, no, that's not true. Sometimes if I ask them nicely, they will do things that I want them to do. But I call it real life dog photography for a reason. There's so many things that go wrong, and they go wrong all the time. It's really hard. I don't have an easy job. I don't think, if people think I've got an easy job, like, they're totally wrong. No, it's actually very difficult. Now, I don't know if Sarah Wood is here, but I will say that there has been one dog that I can remember in the last few years. Shyla, if you're watching, Sarah, Shyla, your dog was easy to photograph. But I'm telling you, most of the time it's a challenge. It's a challenge for me, and I photographed over 1,000 dogs. I can't even remember how many dogs I photographed. It's so many. But it's always hard. It's always hard because there's other dogs around, there's other people around. The weather might not be playing ball. Somebody on a bike might come past and the dog goes off barking. Another thing actually I find on shoots that is a distraction to dogs is when people come in big groups, and some of them, especially if it's young children, not really young, like not like toddlers, but I don't know, like 8 to 13, something like that. They get a bit bored and then they'll go wandering off, I don't know, looking at this, that, and the other. And then the dogs get really distracted. So, because they don't like it when the pack disperses. So there's a whole host of things that can go wrong. I actually remember one time I was on a shoot. It took us ages to get this date sorted because the lady really wanted her partner, her husband, to come along to the shoot. And actually, we got to the shoot and it was fine. And then he got bored and he was wandering off looking at shells and stones and things. And because he went off board, the dog was like, what you doing? And in the end, I had to say to the lady, can you like rein in your husband, please? Because he's distracting the dog. So it's not often sometimes the things that you think will be the distractions. It's sometimes just husbands. Okay, but you've got to have patience. So patience is absolutely like you can photograph buildings, you can photograph flowers, whatever. Dogs different. You have to have patience. So it's absolutely paramount importance that you have patience. You've got to have patience with yourself. If you knew it all already, you wouldn't be here, right? And life would be a little bit boring if you knew everything already. There'd be nothing to learn, right? I've still got stuff to learn. I think there's always going to be things to learn in dog photography or dog photography in general. So you got to be patient with yourself. As I said in the beginning, I was extremely frustrated with myself. I didn't have a clue. And I can remember one time having a little bit of a tantrum, a little bit of a stompy feet. Oh, I can't do it. Never going to be able to do it. Hate it. It's so annoying. And all the pictures of Boo when she was moving as a puppy, literally just a blur, a little blob floating along on some grass. It's so annoying because she was just so cute. I really wish that I'd learned before I got her, but yeah, there you go. It's too late. You have to have patience with the dog. You cannot ever be impatient with the dog. First of all, obviously, it's not very nice and you shouldn't do that. But second of all, they're not going to enjoy the experience. It's like any training, isn't it? If you train with kindness and with patience, then you're going to be more likely to get out from the dog what you want. And it's the same with photography. So, like I said, when I'm on my shoots, I kind of have this air of kind of complete calm no matter what happens. Obviously, if something dangerous happens, I'm going to stop it. But that's never happened. But I have this kind of air of it's okay, it's fine. It's fine that they just run a mile down the beach chasing some dog. It's not very conducive to taking pictures of them, but things like that do happen, and you just have to be you just have to go with the flow. You really do have to go with the flow. It's always important to keep a smile on your face and just realize that actually this is real life, and stuff does happen. And this is why it makes, when you do eventually get something that you really really like, makes it all the more satisfying. Yeah, and also, yeah, like I said, patience with the things that you can't control. Now, what's somebody else saying? A lot of the action shots were taken with a wide angle lens and some of the telephoto. Are there situations why you would use one over the other? Yes. Yes, there are definitely situations where I would choose to use different lenses. I'm loath to go too much into detail about that because we're definitely going to be covering stuff like that later on. Although I'll just give you because you've asked, I'll just say a little bit something about that. I with my action shots, yes, I take pictures both with the telephoto and wide angle lenses. Well, it's a very good reason for both. I like the style of both. But the telephoto lens, there's a very good reason why I use this lens first. And that is because it enables me to be further away from the dogs. It doesn't matter if you've got a confident dog who doesn't mind you being in their space. But a lot of my customers have rescue dogs. And a lot of those dogs tend to be fairly nervous. And so they're not comfortable with me being in their space straight away. So I stay well back. They can come and say hello to me if they want, but I don't put myself kind of in their face like, oh, you must say hello to me. So being able to stay well back, they can kind of run around and do their own thing, and I'm sort of in their zone, but not kind of very close to them, if that makes sense. And then they get used to me, and then we can get closer and closer. So I always use that lens first. And it's a fantastic lens as well. I've got a 70 to 200 2.8 lens. But yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about lenses and things like that because I don't want to confuse things with that straight away. Let's have a look. Another question. Do you need with some dogs to get to know them first? Like spend some time with them before the shooting sessions? There are dogs that they are shy at first and might not get closer to you. Exactly. That's exactly what I was just saying. No, I just get on with it. There's not time for that. What I tend to do is I tend to meet people in the car park or whatever, and then we'll walk to the location, even if that's like 2 or 3 minutes. we'll walk, and as I said, I don't really try too hard to sort of say hello to the dogs. I always let them lead the process. So if they want to come and say hello to me, I'll be all over them. And I have another trick up my sleeve too. So, or rather, in my pocket. So I always have really nice smelly treats in my pocket, right? So when a dog gets, if you've got a nervous dog who's kind of tentatively coming over to say hello to me, put my hand in my pocket, rub it around the smelly treats, and then go, "Hello, how are you?" And they're like, "Oh, you smell nice. Oh, you're an interesting person. Oh, oh," and all of a sudden they're interested. If they're not food motivated, they're always motivated by something. Generally, it's very rare that a dog isn't motivated by something. But for example, if I had a nervous dog who was absolutely obsessed with their ball, I'd say to the owner, "Can I just have their ball? Can I just hold it?" Even as we're walking along, I'll just hold it and I'll throw it for them. Way before I even get the bag down and get the camera out. And then all of a sudden, the dog's really interested in me. But there's so many different scenarios. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I had a dog who actually had a phobia of being looked in the eye. And so the entire shoot, excuse me, I couldn't say hello to her. And the entire shoot, I was kind of like looking here, looking there, like doing anything I could to not look her in the eye. And actually really proud at the end of the shoot. I was holding a ball. She's obsessed with the ball. And I was holding a ball next to the camera, and she put her paws up on a gate and she looked right through me. She looked right at me. And I didn't ask her to. I just held the ball and she looked. But it's very much about going at the pace of the individual dog. And if that means that I'm there way longer, well, I never put like a time limit on shoots anyway. I'd say it's about an hour to 2 hours, but in reality, it's always longer. I mean, dogs are just dogs at the end of the day. You can't really put a time limit on these things, but I'm always happy to stay longer and spend more time with nervous dogs. But I do find actually that location is absolutely paramount to the importance of whether a dog feels comfortable or not. But I have a whole section about motivation, and this is very much covered in that. So I hope that answers your question. My shoots are very much kind of like a walk. So again, I'm going to go through this in big detail, but just to hopefully conclude answering your question. Yeah, for the dog, I want it to be like it's like a walk, and they just made a new friend, me, who maybe threw their ball or ran around with them or gave them some food, some nice special treats I have in my pocket. And I have actually heard quite a lot from people, oh, they're not normally like this with people. And oh, they've really taken to you, haven't they? And that always makes me feel really, really good. And I'm pretty sure it's because I just don't try too hard. I just let them be. If they want to say hello, they want to say hello. If they don't want to say hello, they don't have to. But it's also the way I manage the shoot too. For example, we always do action shots first. So they're running around. The last thing they want to do when they've gotten out the car is sit for a portrait. They don't want to do that. They know any dog, unless it's really lazy, doesn't want to move. They don't want to do that. So it's very much about managing the photo shoot and managing the needs and the likes and dislikes of the dog in question. There is no shoot that I do that is exactly the same as another one. So I hope that answers your question. If not, and you want to ask something else, please ask questions below. So, oh yeah, I've got written here health and safety. Health and safety is obviously of paramount importance on my photo shoots, and I never get any dog to do anything that they don't want to do. I'm always asking questions. Will they do this? Will they do that? Are they happy to do this? Are they happy to get up there? The person always knows, or they might say, I'm not sure, let's give it a go, and they'll either do it or they don't do it. But I never do anything that puts any dog in danger. Never. Obviously, it's only photography. It's definitely not worth it. But within that also, It's about not trying to make them do things they don't want to do. It's very counterproductive and it's not very nice either. So I really don't want to do that kind of thing. So, and I've got written here in capital letters, fun, exclamation mark. It should be fun. It's difficult for me a lot of the time, a challenge. But the dog absolutely has to have fun. And the people, obviously, you don't forget about them, but the dog has to have fun. If they're not having fun, I'm doing it wrong. And I gotta look to that. So I would hope that you guys, yeah, thanks. Okay, cool. I would hope that you guys really sort of try and what am I trying to say? I'm trying to think of the word. Get that as the core of what you're trying to do. If you put your photos first, no, you're going to lose. You have to put the dog first. The dog's likes, dislikes, what they find fun, that always has to come first. Then the kind of health and safety. Well, that obviously that goes without saying. You always have to have health and safety. Dog's fun, people's fun. Then you come last. You basically come last. So some of you were very kind enough to go do the task in lesson 1, and you went through some images of mine, and it was hysterical. It was really funny because I was really surprised at what you thought was easy and what you thought was difficult. So what I've got now is I've got some of those pictures. Hang on my phone, and I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to have to put Boo down because she's going to slide off. Bye bye. Bye bye. Go on to bed. So I'm going to get these pictures up on my phone, and then I'm going to go through them. Oh, hang on. Funnily enough, most of you said that they were going to be hard, so you probably, you got it right. Most of them are hard. But the ones that you said were easy. Can you see that properly? I'm sorry if it's not a very good way of seeing it, but wasn't quite sure what else to do. So you got this picture of this Westie puppy coming running towards the camera, and somebody said that they thought that that would be easy to do. Yeah, actually, yeah, that was quite easy to do. As long as you have where you are what the dog is motivated by, they'll come towards you. So all I did for that picture, I mean, luckily there were 2 people on the shoot, and I said, right, her name's Harriet. I said, if Harriet was in the middle and you 2 were going to run in opposite directions, who would she follow? And generally it's the woman, it generally is, but not always, but generally. So basically I kept the woman with me, and the guy went up the hill, and then he let her go, and the woman was like, woo, Harriet, come. And then she just came. We nailed it first time. Now, technically, getting pictures of dogs running towards you at speed, people struggle with, but we'll do that with in the action shot, the passive action shot section later on in the course. I say passive because I am not running with her, clearly way too fast. I couldn't keep up. But passive action photography is when you're sort of in an observational mode and they're over there doing something or coming towards you, and you're just kind of here static taking a picture of it. The interactive mode, for want of a better phrase, is when you're kind of running around with them. So actually I found that quite easy. I just lay on the ground, she came towards me, boom, job done. Okay, so next one. I really hope that you can see this. Somebody else said that they thought that this picture would be easy to do. Yeah, in theory, yes. You think that, but actually I find portraits quite difficult because most dogs don't want to sit still. Or if they do want to sit still, they'll sit still next to their person, but they don't generally want to sit still kind of away from their person. So was it easy? Well, no, because that was actually just a split second, and I kind of had to set it up. There were 2 people and there was another dog, and we had to get the other dog out of the way, and it was actually quite bright, so I had to find a patch of shade. Um, and actually, we had to wait till the end of the shoot until he was relatively tired. If I tried doing this at the beginning of the shoot, not even the remotest chance that it would work, he would just wanted to run around. So, depending on when you do it, it could be easy. But if you try doing portraits too soon after the dog has kind of gone on their walk, it's boring. They don't want to do that. They want to run around, don't they? Like I said, unless they're kind of a lazy or elderly dog. You know, elderly dogs are quite good for portraits because they just kind of tend to sit there. So on to the next one. Oh god. Okay. So somebody thought that this picture was easy. Let me tell you how hard this picture was to get. Oh my god. Right. So you're talking 3 dogs, and this was a shoot about, was it about 4 weeks ago on Saunton Sands? This was one of my last shoots before the lockdown, and so we got 3 dogs, Saunton Sands. I can't remember their names. Sorry. We got him and another spaniel and another kind of poodly cross dog. Okay, none of them do anything with each other. I mean, they occasionally run around, but they were all over the shop. And this particular dog took it upon himself to say hello to near enough every single dog on the entire beach. Actually, my mum was staying with me during that week, and she's got a beautiful lurcher called Albert, and he took a shine to Albert. And no matter how far away down the beach my mum went, because my mum had my 2 pugs and Albert, she was taking them for a walk, he was running after Albert like the entire time. So he actually wasn't there very much for the shoot because he was all over the shop. And the lady, I could tell she was getting a little bit upset with the dogs because they just sort of, in her mind, weren't behaving. And I just kept saying, no, it's fine, don't worry, we'll get something, we'll get stuff, don't worry, it's fine. And actually this picture was taken after about 2.5 hours of hard slog. I actually don't think I could feel my hands anymore, they were that cold. And in the end, there was no way he was posing for a portrait. Not a chance. No chance at all. He was not going to do it. He was too wired about the other dogs, and also too wired about who's got the ball, I want the ball, because they were all trying to get the ball, him and the other 2 dogs that were there. So I was like, God, what can I do? And in the end, I said to it, right, you've got a few balls, just keep throwing them into the dunes. And I was slipping down the dunes, and I was falling over, and I was getting sand all in my wellies, and they were laughing at me. They thought it was hysterical. And I was like, I'm trying to get a portrait for you here, like, it's getting a bit desperate. And she kept throwing the ball up, and eventually there he was. So no, that was very, very, very hard to get. I mean, it's one thing getting him up on the dunes, but he actually needed to also be facing where the light was coming from, because quite a lot of the time what I could see was his backside and dogs running away from me. So that one was actually really, really difficult. But I hope she liked it. She seemed to like it. She did say she liked it. Okay, so now I've got some ones that people have said were difficult. And some of them were and some of them weren't. So we're going to go with this one first. This is one of a Jack Russell and 2 Daxies. This was a really difficult photo shoot. And a lot of people, a lot of you guys have already mentioned how hard photographing multiple dogs is. Write down below if you try to photograph multiple dogs and if it has been a challenge, because I can tell you now, for me, it is still very much a challenge. I mean, it's, photographing one dog is hard enough, let alone when you add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's really hard. Don't be under any illusion that it's easier for me. I've just got a few more ideas and a few more kind of tricks up my sleeve. But this is years old. What the lady wanted the most was a picture of her dogs together. But would these guys do anything together? Nope, not at all. The one on this side, pretty nervous dog actually. All she ever wanted to do was to be by the feet of the lady. The dog in the middle, what did he want to do? I think he was sort of busy running around and sort of just sniffing about and doing stuff. And the Jack Russell was completely ball obsessed. So none of them had any inclination to do anything together. This was taken to very much at the end when we'd sort of all gotten a bit tired. But actually, this picture isn't real. They just wouldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. So I took a few shots, and actually, I got the little one from a different picture. Whoops, placed her in there. So sometimes what you see is not really what is happening, but sometimes it's the only way to get a client what they want. I mean, you guys, you have your own dogs, as I have my own dogs, and you practice the same dogs over and over and over again. I often have like 1, 2, 3 hours with a dog I've never met before, and yeah, I'm under pressure to get something. So I'm definitely not a purist. Obviously, I'd rather get things in camera, but sometimes it's just simply not possible. They're just not going to do it, and of course, I'm not going to be there making them do it. Oh, God, you must sit. You must sit. No, I just got a few pictures. I actually had an idea for doing this when I was there because she was a little bit nervous and was beginning to not really enjoy herself. So I was like, well, I'll just get a quick picture and then that's it. That's fine. That she doesn't have to worry about it. So actually, that was very difficult. Someone said they thought that this picture was it easy or difficult? Oh no, she said she couldn't make up her mind. Hard, difficult, very, very difficult. If you can imagine, I'm amongst some rocks. There's stones flying about everywhere. I'm actually slipping backwards. I've got my left foot stuck in between two rocks. I'm holding the camera with my right hand, and in my left hand, I'm getting their attention with some really, I don't know, the owners must have given me some cheese or something, and I'm holding that in my left hand, and I'm trying to get them to kind of look at me. And so I let them sniff the food, and then I've got 3 retriever mouths all over my hand, sort of not bite. They were very gentle. They weren't biting, but that's how I get them to look at me. And then I hold the cheese by my lens. So I was kind of like contorted and twisted and could barely feel my right arm. And I had dog slobber all over my left hand. So, oh yeah, and then they kind of jumped on me. So yeah, that was really, really difficult to get. And of course, that was a flash shot, and I'm going to teach you about flash towards the end of the course. So that was really difficult. Let's see another one. Oh, somebody said they thought that this was going to be difficult. Actually, I find sunset and silhouette shots quite easy if you got the right conditions. If you don't have the right conditions, i.e. a nice sunset, there's not really a lot you can do. But if you do have the right conditions, it's not too difficult. So I don't want you guys to worry about it being really hard. I know a lot of you on the group have said that you're quite interested in getting silhouette shots, and we'll definitely get to that. No, it was quite easy. He's jumping up because the guy threw a ball. I just said to the guy, stand off to the side and throw the ball, and we'll just see where he goes. And he threw it up, and that was it. Really, wasn't very hard. So no, that was an easy one. So this one. So you got 6 dogs sitting in a nice row on Dartmoor. This was taken for anyone who's not in the UK. I think most of you are, but a couple of years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago, we had a very cold patch. We called it the Beast from the East, I think it was called. And this was taken a couple of days before that. And I'm telling you, it was so cold. It was sunny, but it was absolutely free. I couldn't even feel my hands. I actually had to keep putting my camera down and put my hand under my arms just to kind of get some kind of warmth. The lady came with a friend, and to get individual shots, the friend would look after 5 of the dogs in one go, and then we take it in turns with each of the individual dogs. But we had to be very quick because it was cold, and some of them were absolutely fine, but others, if you stayed around for too long, they'd start shaking. So we had to be very, very, very fast. She was desperate to get one of them all together, and I said, "Oh, do they sit together?" "Oh, I don't know." And they're all looking that way because actually she was here. She was there in the picture, and they're all looking at her, and they weren't there very long. It was kind of about 1.5 to 2 seconds. It was very, very fast. But I kind of knew that it was going to be very quick. So what we did was we very, very quickly took a picture with her there. Then I said, okay, you can all go out now. You can leave the shot if you don't mind. And then I took a picture of what it looked like without anybody there. And then I replaced her with the background. So that's another Photoshop, not real job. But, you know, like I said, I don't really care about things being real as long as the client likes them. So I don't know. I guess it was relatively easy, but also difficult. I suppose easy if you know how to use Photoshop, which you will do. Hey, no barking. That's Betsy. Okay, so someone said they thought that this would be quite difficult, and they mentioned people as not understanding my instructions as being a reason why things might be hard. That's very true, actually. Sometimes it seems to be quite difficult for people to understand what I'm asking them to do in terms of throw the ball here, throw the ball there, do this, that direction, do that, that direction. And I do a lot of demonstrating what I actually mean. But I don't think, to be honest, this wasn't hard. I don't think that was hard. I just said, play. I think it's dog's called Reggie. I said, I'll just play with him, just kind of hold the frisbee up and just sort of run back and forth and this and that and side to side. And I ran along with him and just took some pictures, and that was that really. I didn't feel that it was very difficult to do. This is one of the pictures that I call it shooting from the hip, where I'm not looking at what I'm doing. So I wasn't actually looking through the camera, that I was holding it near the floor. But you're going to be doing that later on as well. It's a good laugh. It's quite hard, but it makes things much more flexible. Can you imagine? I probably couldn't have got this shot if I was lying on the floor waiting for this action to happen in front of me. And that's obviously something really important as well. But in terms of my technique, I don't feel like this was difficult because I that's kind of the thing I do. And you guys are going to do stuff like this too. Look, here we go. Here's another Photoshop job. Somebody said, oh, that must have been hard to get them all stood still in one place. Well, if you look at their action, they're not actually still. They're kind of on the move. And the lady was in the picture. Where was she? Oh, she was where the black dog is. You can just see the dog next to the black dog, who is actually a blind dog, looking up at her. But obviously she didn't want to be in the picture. So I got rid of her, moved the black dog in, and it was a very grey day. It was, the conditions were really dull. I mean, so dull, in fact, that I said, listen, I want to do this again. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with these conditions. Let's meet up next month. And so I put the sky in as well, because I just felt the background was really boring. So I don't want you to feel like most pictures I work in Photoshop. That's not actually true. I'd say probably 98% I don't. But occasionally I do. It just so happens that the examples that you guys have pulled out, there's been a bit of Photoshop work in them, but that's not too hard to do. I mean, you guys are going to be able to do that when I've finished with you. Right, so let me see. Oh, okay, so the last example of images that you guys thought were difficult is this one. This is from the shoot with the spaniel, who I said that we were throwing balls up into the sand dunes. Yeah, it was such a hard photo shoot. I was really tired at the end of it, and I mean, I'm tired at the end of most shoots, but this was particularly difficult. But the reason why I got this shot was, first, I was holding a ball. Secondly, I was holding treats, and these are both in my left hand at the same time. And third, I waited right to the end of at least 2.5 hours to actually try and get a portrait of these guys together, because they were, the two spaniels were just quite wild. They had just so much energy. They just weren't interested in staying still. And even then, I think I was slithering down a sand dune, again, sand going in my wellies, my left hand was covered in dog slob. I could barely feel my right hand because it was holding the camera with the flash and everything. And I was like, I can't feel my hand. And I think I did this. They were there for about 2 seconds. That's how much time I had before they were off. So yeah, that was pretty hard to do. So I think that is enough of me telling you about hard pictures. So give me a comment down below. Has any of that been useful to you? I really hope so. If you've got any more questions, now's the time. Write me something before I go. Can't see anything coming in. But yeah, I really hope that what I've gone through today has been a bit enlightening. That yeah, I've been working as a dog photographer for a really long time, but I still find things very difficult. So you're not on your own. And I've got a lot of things that hopefully are going to help you over the course of the next few weeks and months. The next lesson, which is coming to you tomorrow, is light. Now, in writing this, I realised it's a gargantuan topic, so I might have to do it in 2 sections. Haven't quite decided yet. I don't want to overload you with too much, especially for people who feel like they're beginners. I want to kind of give it to you in manageable chunks. I mean, I could always do more than 20 lessons, it doesn't matter. Hey, no worries, very useful. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. So the lesson coming to you tomorrow is all about light. I really appreciate any feedback that you've got. If there's anything that you don't understand, if there's anything that doesn't make sense or has made you think twice about things, I will say this: the pictures that I've seen coming onto the group so far, the main thing that I think is, are you going out to take your pictures when it's convenient to you? Or are you going out to take your pictures when the light is right? I'll leave you with that, because actually I think a lot of times people are going out when it's convenient to them and not necessarily when you've got good light. But what is good light? That's hopefully what I'm going to show you in tomorrow's lesson. So please come back into the group at any time. Keep sending me your pictures. If you do manage to get out and practice this week, that would be fantastic. Of course, we're all on this strange lockdown scenario, so even though we are allowed to take our dogs out, it's not really appropriate to be out for ages taking pictures of them. But the odd snap, there's no problem with that. I'm still taking pictures of Boo and Betsy. I'm just not there for ages, making a big deal out of it. But I think the odd snap is okay, isn't it? And yeah, so please feel free. The tasks that I set you, if you can do them, great. If you can't do them, obviously no problem at all. There's no exam at the end of this, although I'm very happy to give you any feedback. I did have a question. Would any of you be interested, if I can figure out the technology, in doing like a kind of like a virtual meeting? So we're side by side and we're talking to each other, and I go through your pictures and tell you how I think that you could improve your specific pictures. And also, if you tell me about your specific issues that you have with your own dog when you're out, dog or dogs, when you're out and about, I can give you some dedicated advice as to what I think will help you specifically. Obviously, you'd need to be on the video as well as me, but I think that could be quite cool. Conversations with Rianne, I'd be like, oh, tell me your problem. Because there's lots of things that I feel like you could say to people with their pictures, and lots of issues that have come up. I've got this problem, I've got that problem, and I think that I could really help you guys out. So let me know in the chat, or let me know in the group if you be up for that. Don't be shy, or not. That's fine. You don't have to do it. So that's it, I think, for today. How long have I been going? I've been talking non-stop for 54 minutes. Well, I can go on a lot longer. I can talk for hours. But yeah, I should probably leave it there. Yes, please. What do you mean? Yes, please. Oh, with the thing. Okay, yeah. All right, then we'll do it. Let's do it. We'll do it. Right, Louise? You're the first one. We'll do that. We'll arrange something, and then we'll see. We'll see how it works. Obviously, I had a problem with the YouTube today, so I don't know why it didn't work initially, but I seem to have got it now. And yeah, it's my first live stream. It's exciting, isn't it? So, last thing I want to say is thank you so much for being here, not just with me here today, but on my course. I can't work at the moment. I can't do my shoots. I can't do my workshops. I don't know when I'm going to be able to work again. I actually have another job, a part-time job in a workshop, and that's closed down as well. I live on my own. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but the silence is deafening. So having this course to concentrate on is helping me enormously. So I really want to thank you all so much for being here and being interested in my work and in learning from me, because it's really helping me out. And also it's enabling me to donate some money to charity too, because I feel a little bit kind of useless, not quite sure what to do to help the situation. So yeah, just really want to thank you for being here. And if you've got any friends who want to learn as well, they go and tell them to join my course too. They can join any time. It just means that the later on they join, the fewer of these Q&As they'll get live access to. They'll still have access to all the content. So I hope that you're all well. I think that's enough of me for one day. There's still 9 people hanging around, so thank you very much. Okay, guys, look out for the lesson on light tomorrow. Any questions, any feedback, any thoughts, anything, just put it in the group or email me directly. And you all take care, and I hope that you're well. And give your dogs a kiss from me and a cuddle, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, thanks very much, and bye-bye.